Hey everyone, this may be my last video for today, I don't know, but I wanted to do a quick video about some comments about XRP, which I consider to be borderline a scam token, but certainly not investment grade. And someone did the kind courtesy of posting some thoughtful comments on a video I did about XRP, which is by Ripple Labs, R-I-P-P-L-E. And I've done multiple videos saying, do not buy Ripple. It is not for you. It's a bad investment. Don't do it. But I wanted to respond to the person's comments. The first thing I'll say is thank you to the individual who sent the comments. Very few people are willing to have a thoughtful discussion on Facebook. Mostly it's just a dumpster fire of people yelling at each other. I try to make sure that my Facebook page is never part of that dumpster fire. So I appreciate it, especially when I, invite feedback from people when somebody takes me up on it and says, sure, here's some thoughts. So first, thank you very much to the person who posted some comments. I very much appreciate it. All right, so he addresses my first criticism, which is, why do you need the XRP token if you don't need to use the network? He says, why do you need Visa stock if you don't need it to use the network? See, the problem here is a deep misunderstanding of what the XRP token is. So the XRP token is not stock in Ripple Labs. If somebody was investing in Ripple Labs, and venture capital firms have, and high net worth individuals have, that makes sense. If you invest in a company that's helping people with cross-border payments and international remittances and international money settlement, sure. If you're investing in a company by owning shares in that company, like investing in Visa or Amazon or Ripple Labs, that's great. But that's not what XRP is. There are investors in Ripple Labs, but that is not you. You have to be an accredited investor with more than $1 million in liquid assets other than your house, and it's not open to the public. So there is 0 people watching this video who are investors in Ripple Labs. So they're invested in the XRP token that Ripple Labs issues. The problem is that's like investing in the Visa token. Well, there isn't one because if there was, it would be worthless. Or the Amazon token because there isn't one because it would be worthless. There is no Amazon token and there is no Visa token because there's no value in a Visa token or an Amazon token. You would have the same problem, which is, look, if you invest in Ripple Labs, you might make money. If you invest in Visa or Amazon, you might make money. If you use the services of Ripple Labs or Amazon or Visa, good for you. It's a utility. The problem is, if you invest in the token issued by those companies, then why does the token have value? I'm not questioning whether the company has value, but the token does not represent ownership in the company. The token represents ownership in nothing. It represents ownership of one of 100 billion Ripple tokens. The problem is nobody's established why a Ripple token is valuable. So I appreciated the sort of corollary there. The problem is it doesn't hold. Investing in companies is good. Using companies for what they intend to do is good. Investing in a token issued by a company is almost always worthless, which is what XRP is. Anyway, he goes on to say, if liquidity is the game, then utility of the liquidity is everything. Insert bad actors, and yes, a rug pull is imminent. The problem is, XRP, if you're looking for liquidity, you can get liquidity with US dollar stablecoins called USDC or Tether, USDT with a T for Tether. USDC is issued by Circle, which is backed by Coinbase, and USDT is issued by Tether, which is an international company. So if you're doing international remittances and payments and you need liquidity that's pegged to the US dollar, you can get that. But that's not what XRP is. XRP is not a stable, large pool of liquidity. It is an unstable, small pool of liquidity. If you don't mind being detached from the US dollar, then there's way more liquidity in Bitcoin. So why wouldn't you use Bitcoin instead of XRP? So anyway, I disagree with this. So then he goes on to talk about, I'm not going to read the entire thing. You can go dig up the comments. It's to the very first Ripple/XRP post I did. The comments are on that. So if you want to go read them, just, dig up the very first post I did on Ripple/XRP, and you can read the comments yourself. If I had more time, I was planning to read all of the comments. I just don't have time to do that. Okay, so then he goes on and talks about how the XRP network might be used and how somebody might convert US dollars to XRP and JPY, the Japanese currency. He says, for example, if Big Dog Bank in the USA sends $2 billion to a Japanese bank, now the conversion goes from US dollars, in the XRP world, it goes from US dollars to XRP to Japanese yen. Okay, I can promise you, nobody Nobody on the planet is taking $2 billion of US dollars, converting them into XRP, and then converting them to Japanese yen. Not happening. Zero chance. Now, that doesn't mean people aren't using XRP for like tiny little payments where if they lose the money, it doesn't matter. Nobody is converting $2 billion into XRP. I mean, I would be shocked if anyone ever does that in the history of the world. Because again, you're assuming something bad's not going to happen in that time period, right? In that conversion. And so if you're converting to Bitcoin, well, you're converting to the most stable currency system in the world. XRP, give me a break. Nobody's converting $2 billion into XRP. All right, so then he talks about incentives of if the price is higher, there's more liquidity, so you actually want the XRP token to be higher in value. But again, if you're looking for liquidity, you can get that in US dollar peg stablecoins, USDC, or Tether USDT, or Bitcoin. So I don't see how XRP would offer better settlement guarantees or more liquidity. If you want more liquidity than US dollar stablecoins, you can get it. You can get a bunch of liquidity on US dollar stablecoins, but you can get it on Bitcoin for $2 trillion. Versus XRP. Like I don't see again in any universe the need to convert in and out of XRP for large amounts of money. They're just not going to do it. I'd be shocked. Let me see here. All right, next up is, again, I'm just hitting the highlights here because I just don't have the time to do more in depth. He talks about if a bank is holding XRP for the long term. I promise you, banks are not holding XRP for the long term. Banks won't even hold Bitcoin for the long term. I mean, they don't even think Bitcoin is stable enough yet to hold for the long term. Now, in time they will, but my gosh, like, banks think there's too much variability in the US dollar because of international, trade, in and out of international currency. So if they think the US dollar, if they're concerned with stability of the US dollars or US Treasury bonds, they're going to stick a bunch of money in XRP? Zero. No, not going to happen. Okay. Then he talks about, if the, volatility is a problem, you can use RLUSD, which is Ripple Labs USD, which is their own stablecoin. But again, we're back to the problem of if you want stable liquidity, you can get that with a stablecoin. If a lot of people are using a stablecoin and they're using Ripple stablecoin, well, great. Ripple Labs is going to make a lot of money. But again, XRP is not an investment in Ripple Labs. XRP is an investment in Ripple token. So if everybody starts using RLUSD for international settlements, which they might use Tether, they might use USDC, they might use RLUSD, which is just a stablecoin similar to USDC or USDT. But again, owning XRP, the token, doesn't give you any stake in that. I mean, none whatsoever. So it just makes no sense to own XRP because, again, if what people want is a stablecoin, they're going to use the Tether company stablecoin. The company Tether might make a bunch of money. But again, you don't own that because XRP does not represent any ownership stake in the actual company Ripple Labs, which is the issuer of that stablecoin. So that's a problem there. Okay, the next up we have here, he closes by saying there's also a valid point on the surface as to why all of this sounds like a Ponzi scheme. I would say, yes, it does. Okay, next up, give me a second here. Good afternoon. Next up here, we have... Now, Q the clue, I'm going to read this whole paragraph. He says, now Q in the clueless common man, aka me, my main objective in entering the XRP liquidity pool is being the little man who gets to provide and build with these huge muscles the big rails in the cross-border payment system. Again, if that were the case, you need to be a shareholder in Ripple Labs, not XRP. So I understand the mindset here, but the problem is the mindset applies to being a shareholder of Ripple Labs, which this individual is not. They are an owner of the XRP token, but being an owner of the XRP token does not let you be a shareholder in Ripple Labs. If everybody's using XRP as their liquidity pool, well then yes, you own a share of that liquidity pool. But again, for all the reasons I've said, I see zero reason why XRP is going to be the liquidity pool is going to be the liquidity pool of choice for people. I don't see any universe where XRP becomes the liquidity pool of choice. So could Ripple Labs become very successful? Sure. But that has nothing to do with the XRP token going up. Again, if there was a Visa token and nobody could figure out what it was or what it did, then yeah, it might go up and down as people become more excited or less excited about the company Visa. But at the end of the day, it's eventually going to go to zero if it doesn't do anything. Or if something else does it better, which is the problem here, which is, all RLUSD does a better job of providing liquidity than XRP. So does USDT. So does USDC. So does Bitcoin. Like, all of those are better technologies for liquidity than XRP. So again, the guy goes on though. He says, will the market ultimately decide XRP's market cap? $5 per XRP, $10, $70? Yes, but the little guy's ability to not be an accredited investor and still have the opportunity to pursue big bank operations sounds like the American dream to me. But I also agree it's a buzzword salad heaven. Again, the problem here is, if you could invest in Ripple Labs as an unaccredited investor, and if all the big banks were using Ripple Labs, then the logic here would be sound. But again, that's not what's happening. The big banks and the big time Silicon investors are invested in Ripple Labs, and Ripple Labs just happens to have a token that random people can invest in. But the profits don't go to the token. The profits go up to Ripple Labs and to their investors. Or they go to the utility of whoever's using the network. They do not go to the XRP token, which is what people are invested in. So again, the logic is kind of sound that there could be value creation. The problem is the value creation does not accrue to the XRP token. It accrues to Ripple Labs. And the XRP token is not a share of Ripple Labs. It's a random coin that Ripple Labs just happened to issue. All right, so let me change, switch pages here. My hair's getting blown all over the place. Give me 1 second to fight through my paperwork. All right, we're back. All right, then he talks about the fact that I said, well, the problem with XRP is 42% of it is controlled by Ripple Labs. And if they dump $42 billion into the market over the next 3 years, that's a huge problem, because I just did a video about liquidity. And if the entire market for XRP is represented by 58% of the coins, and then you show up and dump 48% more coins, or 42% more coins into the market, that's going to tank the price. So he goes into the why they haven't dumped them yet. But again, this is a trust me bro problem, where somebody's saying, look, we probably won't do that. The whole point of crypto, though, was to get away from that, was to get away from, trust me, just trust me, bro. So yeah, there's a chance that they won't dump all 42 billion XRP tokens into the market. But why wouldn't they? They have no incentive not to, other than the fact that, to the degree that they're trying to make money off everyone else, it might tank the price, and then it makes it harder for them to make money off everyone else. But anyway, he says they're strategically spending about 200 to 300 million XRP per month. But again, they're just making this stuff out of thin air. Like, they're just dumping market, XRP tokens, and every time they do 200 to 300 million, they are sucking 400 to $600 million out of the marketplace that is not accruing to the XRP token holders, which again, do not. So who's benefiting? Ripple Labs, not XRP. All right, next up, he says there's an ETF and an ETP are being seeded with funds. So yes, some people are applying for ETFs, exchange traded funds with XRP, just like they did for Ethereum. Everybody thought it was going to be a huge deal for Ethereum, and Ethereum just kept going down compared to Bitcoin. So the Ethereum ETFs have not been a big deal, because you don't want to own them for the reason you want to own Bitcoin ETFs. So what? There's, if there ever is an XRP ETF, so what? It's not going to perform any better than the Ethereum ETF, and that's been a sort of a dud. All right, next up it says, at their current spending rates, it brings them to about 2035 or after, until their escrow account is depleted. The question is, why are you investing in a token where somebody has 42% of the tokens locked in an escrow account? Like, the whole point of cryptocurrency was that you don't have to trust anybody, not that 42% of the supply is locked in a lockbox that they pinky promise and, Boy Scouts honor swear they're not going to go raid. I mean, again, I would just never invest in this. All right, next up, he says, he addresses my criticism that partnerships are another buzzword and empty promise. He says, I like your perspective on this one. Being in tech and knowing the smoke screens that partnerships have, I'm still encouraged by the smaller XRP partnership tutorials that can be pleasing their customers and doubling their growth, like the business. It's SAI space HA money. Hey ha money. I don't know. On their website. He said, I lack the knowledge to dig much further. So I actually went and read the case study on Hey Ha Money, And again, they're like, thank you to Ripple Labs for helping us with cross-border payments and, you know, global liquidity, blah, blah, blah. But again, nowhere do they mention why they needed the XRP token to do this. So does the case study indicate that maybe Ripple Labs is helping people? Sure. So's the case study of any company. But again, that doesn't mean the XRP token was necessary to do that, or that the price goes up, or that the XRP token needs to increase in price for that case study to happen. So what I'm waiting for, which I could not find on their website, what I'm waiting for is somebody to explain to me, why do you have to have the XRP token? I understand international remittances are important. I understand cross-border payments are important. I understand that interbank settlements is important. I just don't understand why you need the XRP token to do any of that. So again, that's like somebody saying, Joel, you just don't understand. Visa, it's a payment network. I would say, great, but you don't need a Visa coin. Like, you don't need a Visa coin to do Visa or MasterCard. You don't need a Amazon coin to do Amazon. So anytime you have a coin associated with a company, but nobody can really figure out why you need the coin or why it's valuable, it eventually goes to zero. Go look at Miami coin. If you think, if you think a coin that's associated with something that doesn't really necessarily have value people can put their finger on is a good idea, go look at Miami coin. The Miami launched their own coin, the city of Miami, and it basically went to zero. Or go look at the Satoshi Island coin, basically went to zero. I mean, it's just crazy. All right, next up here it says, he thinks it will vastly outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin on this bull run. Again, don't ever invest in something because you think it's gonna outrun Bitcoin and then you're gonna get out before it crashes. That is the greater fool theory. It's the time the market theory. It's the, hey, somebody says, well, hey, the Bitcoin tide is coming in, but the trash is gonna float first. I'm gonna invest in the trash, but then I'm gonna get out before it crashes and everybody realizes it's trash. Don't ever invest that way. Don't ever invest in something that does not have deep fundamentals that you understand. The reason I'm invested in Bitcoin is because I understand the fundamental value of Bitcoin, and I've talked about it a million times on more than 200 videos I've done on Facebook of what is the fundamental value of Bitcoin. Why does the world need Bitcoin? How do people use Bitcoin? What is the real world application of Bitcoin? I've talked about that on hundreds of videos now. But again, don't ever invest in something because you think it might go up and then you might get out before it crashes. That is an absolute recipe for losing money every time. So, but again, you run into this where people are like, yeah, but I think so-and-so coin will go up faster than Bitcoin. It's like, it might. Styrofoam cups float first when the tide comes in. That doesn't mean they're not trash. Like, the tide is real water. The styrofoam cup is trash. It floats faster than the other things that the tide will ultimately lift all boats with Bitcoin, all like legitimate things, companies and everything like that. The fact that the trash floats ahead of the boats doesn't mean you should invest in the trash. It means you should invest in the boats because they're real. They're not trash. So my advice remains the same. Do not invest in XRP, which is by Ripple Labs. Again, I'm not saying the investors of Ripple Labs won't get rich, but people who own XRP are not investors in Ripple Labs. I'm not saying the company doesn't create value. I'm saying the XRP token is not what is connected to the creation of that value. So if you're investing in XRP or you're investing, then a whole lot of value can get created and none of it accrue to you. Meaning, I think the way the XRP token will go is the way the Miami coin token went, or the Satoshi Island coin went, or any other coin for which nobody's really sure why it's there or what it does. They're just pretty sure the company behind it is valuable, and then they buy the coin. But it's like, again, that is not how investing works. Please don't do that. So hopefully this helps. If anybody wants to provide a critique of this video or any of the other videos I've done that are anti-XRP, feel free to do that, and I will do an address of the critique like this video. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.